Hello everybody, my name is RetroBoy03, coming back at you with another LEGO video review. Today we'll be taking a look at the LEGO Nexo Merlok's Library 2.0. This set comes with 3 minifigures, 2 Nexo powers, 288 pieces, and retails for around $25 in the United States. So, without further ado, let's get into the review. So here is the first minifigure, and the only actual Nexo Knight included in this set. Here we have Lance. And, as you can see, Lance is the White Knight, making him both the least interesting of the Knights, but at the same time, his parts are definitely the most usable outside of the Nexo Knights line. Because again, all of his printing, it's white. It doesn't have any wacky colors, it's just white. It's very usable outside of this specific theme. I'll quickly get Lance's accessories out of the way. As you can see, he has this build for a Lance here, which is ice cream cone, a radar dish, a normal cone, and then this silver spear. That's a pretty nice build. I'll just get that out of the way. He has this rocket pack on the back, which is just a very simple build, using a few of the Galaxy Squad pistols in white. And, well, let me just try to remove this in full, and you can see that all of the Nexo Knights, with the exception of Axel, have this armor piece on the back that sort of, well, it doesn't sort of, it has those 2 studs on the back, so you can connect things like this jetpack to the back of it, as opposed to the other armor piece that has the 4 studs on the back. Anyway, I accidentally knocked it out of his hand earlier, but you can see that Lance, he also has this shield, which is 2 pieces. You have the silver shield itself, and you just have a stud there to attach a Nexo power to it, and this set comes with 2 Nexo powers. Neither of which I know the names of, so I'm just going to make them up here. Also, if you have the Nexo Knights app, feel free to just scan these into the game, I don't care. So here we have the main Nexo power, which is on a neon orange piece. I honestly don't like how it looks with the minifig. It has a scorpion on and some venom, so we'll call this Toxic Bite. The other Nexo power is one that I think actually looks a lot better with Lance, so I'm going to just display him with it. And this one I'm going to call Ice Dragon. So yeah, I feel as though this one just looks a lot better because it has the white color scheme on a clear piece, and I just think that fits a lot better with with Lance's overall color scheme. Sorry. Yeah, just getting that out of the way, we can take a bit of a better look at the minifig. As you can see, you have some dual molding on the armor for the shoulder pads. This helmet, as you can see, it's just a Bice helmet with this visor on the front that can be flipped up, and underneath, Lance does in fact have a face. That's pretty neat, and definitely very expected, but hey, it's nice to have. As you can see, he has a very Gilderoy Lockharty expression right now. And if we turn it around, I mean, he still kind of looks like he's smiling, but he definitely has a bit more determination. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Just removing his armor piece. You can see that that's the remainder of his torso print, which looks pretty nice. As well as his leg print, which is fine. I like how the belt continues in, but I don't know. The leg and belt printing on mine are really poorly done. The print's really faded. So that's pretty disappointing. Not the best quality control on this guy, it would seem. And then on the back, his back torso print is also pretty nice. So, yeah. That is Lance. He is the only knight you get in this set, but not the only good guy. And speaking of good guys, let's move on to Ava. The other protagonist figure we get in this set is Ava, who, yeah, Ava probably isn't doing much battle. She's sort of, I guess, the commander of the knights. She tells them what to do, despite being like 9 years old. You nailed it, LEGO. You nailed it. But anyway, as you can see, here she's playing Space Invaders on a Sega Game Gear. I know that it's probably supposed to be more of like a Game Boy Advance style of handheld, but who cares? I'm gonna call it the LEGO Game Gear for all time. So that's a pretty nice print. I like the Space Invader on there. as well as just the buttons and stuff. Anyway, removing that, you can see that Ava is not accurate to the show with her hairstyle. Because, as far as I can tell, it almost seems as though, like, this is just sort of a quick tangent I'm going to go off on, but it almost seems as though Nexo Knights was animated, like, by a completely different team that had nothing to do with the sets. So when LEGO actually got images of what the characters were supposed to look like, they couldn't just make a billion new molds, so they just had to improvise, and this was the closest they have, even though in all actualities, Ava's hair should cut off right around the top of her torso. It shouldn't go down nearly that far, but it works. Just kind of wish that maybe the design team for the figures got in touch a bit more with the design team for the show, because yeah. But anyway, you can see that if we remove Ava's hairpiece, which is rubber and originated in the CMF series. Interesting that they recast this piece in dark brown instead of using the Ginny Weasley hairpiece, which just looks like this, but with hair a bit shorter, so it would actually be a bit more accurate. And that one already exists in dark brown for the librarian CMF. But anyway, you can see that she has some lavender printing. It's nice. The torso's fine. Her back torso's pretty detailed, actually. Single-sided face. It's a little girl face. It's cool. That's Ava. The last figure we get is my least favorite figure from the entirety of the first year of Nexo Knights. Yeah, this guy's the Crust Smasher. As you can see, his weapon, it's this kind of sword from... I honestly have no idea where it originated, but maybe, like... Yeah, I have no idea. It's just getting that out of there anyway. You can see that he has some armor on, but only with actual pieces. Like, the torso and legs, pretty much nothing... No actual clothing there. Like, he has a loincloth, but that's it. But as you can see, he has some claws. He has some scales. He has, like, a 10-pack, which is unnatural and needs to die. Removing his armor, you can see that he has this single-sided face print, which is another problem. He has a helmet. Why doesn't he get a double face? Like the Ash Attacker. I mean, seriously, like, comparing this guy and the Ash Attacker is just so embarrassing. That guy's one of the best Nexo Knights figures, and this guy's one of the worst. But anyway, as you can see here on the back, more scales! Yay! The last thing we'll take a look at before we move on to the builds is this little book, which is a pretty nice thing. You have the back is gold, but the front cover is in this nice trans green with this cool print on it. You can open it up, and inside you have a little print for a spider crawling out of the page. That's pretty neat. Next up, we have this little side build, which is just a very small vehicle for the Crust Smasher to use. Just for size comparison, it's like this. Like, this is roughly the size of one of the hover horses, if I'm correct, which I guess is nice since you could put them in competition. As you can see, this guy just has 2 studs on the back to stand on. I mean, he could theoretically sit, but I found it works a lot better to get him with the handlebars, which I'm not going to show you, but you can't hook him up with the handlebars. It works a lot better if you just have him standing and looking up a little, like standing with his legs bent a bit backwards. You can open the bottom jaw here. You can adjust these wings if you want to, although you can't get any sort of realistic flapping motion with them. And your feature, just push together these 2 gunmetal pieces. Boom, it shoots off your fireball and it goes flying away to the depths of heck, and I'll never find it again. So that's a pretty cool play feature. Now let's move on to the main build, Merlok's library itself. So here we have the main build of this set, Merlok's library itself. A build that takes up so much space that it's actually really hard to get it in shot. Like, well, I shouldn't say it takes up a lot of space. I mean, like, the walls make it very wide and the banner on top makes it very tall for this 2-story tower. Anyway, I'm starting with the walls. You can see that these are actually on hinges, and you can do a lot of stuff with these. Well, I mean, you can hinge them back and forth. Here you have some stud shooters. I'm not going to demonstrate those because they're stud shooters. You know how stud shooters work. Push down on a lever, stud fires off to never be seen again. You can see that there are Technic pins on the sides, and there are a few things you can do with these. The thing that was intended is that if you have the Fortrex set, which I do, but I don't have it built, so I can't show you the feature. you can just connect this to the back of the Fortrex, which in my opinion looks really awkward since, well, it does make it so that the low walls of this set are definitely put higher up. It also means that the entirety of this tower is suspended off the ground, which I think looks really bad since, I mean, come on, you have a bit of ground down here. It's just weird. But yeah, the other thing you can do, which wasn't intentional, is if you get multiples of this set here, I'll just take off this wall to show you, you could just connect the walls up as such, and you could just make a really big display if you just get a bunch of different copies of this set. So that's pretty cool. Since I have this wall removed, I'll also show you the back here, which is pretty simple, no studs. You just have a place for the stud shooter, and, well, here's just storage for the extra stud, and the reason that in this review I'll be showing the extra stud and the extra disc, which I'll get into later, is that for the alternate build I've made of this set, you do actually need the extra studs and the extra disc, which is the only reason why I'm showing them. Anyway, here we have a few play features that I'll get into later, but going inside the build, you can see that on the bottom layer you have this ladder, and lifting that up, you can see a little computer print, and this is probably where you would put Ava. So you could just stand her in there. It would work better if she wasn't holding her game console. But she can just sort of stand here and command. But you can see that there's also, I'll just zoom in here. You have this little disc shooter down here. And the features, you can just push on that disc, and the disc will fire out. And as you can see up on the top floor is where I was just storing the extra. You get 2 of these discs in this set. Make sure not to lose the extra since, well, not only are these just really awesome pieces, but for the alternate build I'll be posting, I think, next week, if things work, which they never do, you do need the extra disc included in this set. Anyway, you can see that for the second floor, if we bend this down, you have a little sticker in front of this section, and this is where you put your book, because this is your library. And yeah, the library is literally one book. Up top, you just have some Technic, as well as you have some support beams, just hold this together. And your feature involving that is pretty awesome. So do you remember the big ball launcher that came with the Crust Smasher? Well, you can take that, just take aim at the large banner up top, and that's a really nice sticker in my opinion, but just shoot at that. If the ball will ever shoot out. It hit the banner and did nothing. Beautiful. Okay, here's what's actually supposed to happen. You hit the banner, and it knocks that out, and it knocks out this entire wall section with the nice bars, and then you can get access to the book. Heck, sometimes the book will fall out as well if you didn't put it in as beautifully as I did. And then you can retrieve the book and battle over the book, since Lance has a jetpack. So I'm guessing the story of this set would be, Step 1, Knights get a book. Step 2, Crust Smasher comes in, blows up the library, steals the book. Step 3, Lance gets a jetpack, fights for the book, probably wins the book. Although, I mean, seeing as how he's definitely the least interesting knight. I mean, honestly, I don't care that much who wins. And I guess I want the Knights to win because Ava has a pretty cool game gear. But anyway, yeah. So that's the Merlok's Library 2.0 set from Nexo Knights, and I know it sounds as though I'm being a bit critical of this set, but in all honesty, this is by far my favorite set from the entire Nexo Knights line. All 5 waves that are, well, I guess technically the 4 waves and that have been currently released, and the 2017 and the 2018 wave, actually. It's not supposed to be out yet, but it is already out. But anyway, yeah, this set's pretty cool. The figures are probably the weakest part of it. The main good guy and the main bad guy. Ava's a pretty cool inclusion, though I do like Ava. I like that you get the extra discs. I don't play the Nexo Knights app, so the Nexo powers are completely superfluous in my opinion. But if you like that game, it's cool to get 2 of them here. You get an exclusive book, I believe. I don't think it's included in any of the larger sets, so that's pretty cool. You get some nice play features with the shooter for bad guys, multiple shooters for the good guys, and the only feature that I actually care about, which is boom! Oh hey, it actually worked that time. That's cool. So yeah, overall I would rate this set, and I'll give it an A. Just a solid A. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see all of you in in the next video, probably. Bye-bye.